The bustling corridors of the Galactic Academy pulsed with an eclectic mix of colors, sounds, and aromas that could only come from a melting pot of species from across the universe. Vibrant banners adorned the walls, each representing a different alien culture. Yet, amidst the diversity, one figure stood out: Alex, a human Deathworlder from Earth. With an unruly shock of dark hair and a determined gleam in their eyes, Alex was an oddity here, a creature from a planet famed for its extreme hazards and survival challenges. As Alex navigated the throngs of students, they felt the weight of countless gazes, some curious, others wary. Whispers accompanied them, snippets of conversation that painted a picture of both intrigue and skepticism. Deathworlder, a nearby Xelf student said, their voice laced with contempt. Think they can survive here? Pathetic. Alex's heart raced, but they held their head high, determined not to let the judgment of others shake their resolve. The classroom door loomed ahead, inscribed with symbols Alex could barely decipher. They took a deep breath, pushing past the anxiety. This was an opportunity, a chance to learn about alien ecosystems, something they had yearned for since their arrival. As they entered, the room fell into a hush, all eyes now on the newcomer. At the front of the room stood Professor Varlox, a towering self with bioluminescent skin that flickered like a distant star. Ah, the Deathworlder graces us with their presence, Varlox said, his voice smooth, but tinged with condescension. Welcome to the Advanced Xenobiology course. Here, we study the most dangerous creatures of our galaxy, including our local predators. A collective murmur of excitement swept through the students. Alex's pulse quickened at the mention of predators. They had grown up with tales of Earth's most formidable beasts: lions, wolves, and sharks. Each lesson a survival guide disguised as folklore. What would it be like to study predators in a realm where survival was often an afterthought? With a flick of his wrist, Varlox activated a holographic display that revealed an image of the graphic. A massive, armored beast with razor-sharp claws and glowing red eyes. Gasps filled the room, but Alex's heart raced with exhilaration. The graphic is known for its cunning and ferocity, Varlox continued. Few have survived an encounter. It is essential to understand its behaviors, but I warn you, respect the predator, or it will not respect you. As the lesson progressed, the tension in the room morphed into a charged curiosity. Students discussed the creature's strengths, weaknesses, and hunting tactics. Alex, however, felt something else, a magnetic pull toward the graphic. The more they learned, the more they wanted to know. When the class was dismissed, Alex lingered, flipping through holographic notes. You think you can handle it, a voice sneered from behind. It was Lyra, a sharp-eyed Zenthian with a reputation for being one of the top students. You've seen death on your planet, but this is different. You might not survive a real encounter. Alex turned, meeting her gaze with a confident smile. Maybe that's why I'd be the perfect person to study it. I understand fear and survival. Lyra scoffed, but there was a flicker of interest in her eyes. You're either brave or foolish. We'll see which one it is when you're face to face with the graphic. As they left the classroom, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the brink of something extraordinary. The universe had always been a vast, intimidating place, but now it felt like a challenge waiting to be embraced. Little did they know, the path ahead would be fraught with danger, discovery, and a partnership that could redefine the boundaries of understanding. The next day dawned with a buzz of excitement that reverberated through the academy. Word had spread quickly about Alex's audacious claim to understand the graphic, and curiosity thrummed in the air like the hum of the academy's energy crystals. Students filed into the classroom, each whispering and casting furtive glances at the human who dared to challenge their perceptions. Professor Varlox stood at the front, his bioluminescent skin pulsing with anticipation. Today, we will observe the graphic in its natural habitat, he announced, a hint of theatrical flair in his voice. This is a unique opportunity, but remember, The Graphac is not a mere subject for study. It is a predator, and it must be respected. Alex felt a thrill at the thought of seeing the creature up close, a mix of exhilaration and nervousness coursing through their veins. They could almost hear the echo of their heartbeats as they gathered their notes and prepared for the expedition. The class was ushered out to a hovercraft, a sleek vessel that shimmered under the strange light of the Academy's twin suns. As they ascended, the landscape unfolded below. Rolling hills interspersed with bioluminescent flora and rocky outcrops that dotted the terrain like ancient sentinels. As they landed in a clearing surrounded by towering trees, the atmosphere shifted. The air was thick with tension, and the distant rustle of foliage hinted at the presence of the Graphac. Students disembarked, their excitement tempered by a palpable sense of dread. Alex, however, felt an electric charge in the air, a whisper of instinct guiding them forward. "Stay close, and do not stray from the group," Varlox commanded, his tone authoritative. "The Graphac will be observing us, waiting for any sign of weakness." The group moved cautiously into the dense underbrush, scanning for signs of the creature. Alex's senses heightened. They could feel the thrum of life around them, the subtle shifts in the environment. Every rustle of leaves and crack of twigs seemed amplified in the eerie silence. Suddenly, a bone-chilling roar echoed through the trees, reverberating in Alex's chest. The students froze, wide-eyed with fear. "That's the Graphac," Lyra hissed, her eyes darting around. Alex's heart raced, but it was fueled by excitement rather than fear. "This is what we came for," they whispered, a grin spreading across their face. The other students shot Alex incredulous looks, some suppressing nervous laughter. "Foolish," Lyra muttered under her breath, but Alex couldn't help but feel invigorated by the danger. The roar came again, closer this time, and they spotted a massive silhouette moving through the trees, its armored body glinting in the fractured sunlight. The Graphac emerged into the clearing, its eyes locking onto the group. It was a breathtaking sight, its muscular form radiating power and raw intelligence. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as the creature surveyed its potential prey. "Remember, don't provoke it," Varlox cautioned, his voice low but urgent. The tension was palpable, and the students were frozen in a mix of awe and terror. But something unexpected happened. As the Graphac continued to observe, its expression shifted from predatory focus to something akin to curiosity. Alex felt an inexplicable connection, a spark of recognition that seemed to flow between them and the beast. As the creature moved closer, it halted, tilting its head as if assessing the human. "It's just observing," Alex murmured, stepping forward instinctively. The Graphac's gaze seemed to lock onto Alex's, and in that moment, a silent understanding passed between them. "Are you out of your mind?" Lyra whispered fiercely, tugging at Alex's sleeve. But Alex couldn't pull away from the connection. They felt a tug deep in their gut, as if the universe itself was urging them to bridge the gap between predator and prey. In the eyes of the Graphac, Alex saw not just a beast, but a study partner, an opportunity to unlock secrets that could change everything. As the rest of the class held their breath, Alex took a step closer, heart pounding with determination, ready to embrace the challenge that lay ahead. The Graphac loomed in front of Alex, its massive form both intimidating and mesmerizing. A low growl rumbled from deep within the creature's chest, echoing through the clearing. Most students stepped back, their fear overwhelming their curiosity. But Alex felt an inexplicable pull, as if an invisible thread connected them to this formidable beast. "Stay back," Varlox barked, his voice sharp as he positioned himself protectively in front of the class. "The Graphac is unpredictable. We must maintain our distance." But Alex, driven by an innate desire to understand, took a tentative step forward, their gaze locked with the creature's piercing red eyes. "Wait. Just give me a moment," they urged, barely above a whisper. "Are you insane?" Lyra shot back, her voice laced with panic. That thing could kill you in an instant." "I know," Alex replied, their heart pounding, not with fear, but with determination. "But if we can learn from it, if we can understand it, maybe it won't see us as a threat." The Grathak cocked its head, seemingly intrigued by Alex's boldness. Varlox hesitated, sensing the tension in the air, but the creature's stance shifted from aggressive to curious, its massive body relaxing slightly. "Alex, step back now," Varlox insisted, his voice trembling slightly. Ignoring the warning, Alex took another cautious step, their hands outstretched, palms open, a universal gesture of peace. The Grathak's eyes narrowed, its breathing steady as it processed this unusual behavior. Time seemed to stretch as the creature assessed this brave little figure before it. Then, without warning, a rustling in the underbrush startled everyone. A second Grathak emerged, a smaller, younger version, its scales shimmering with a vibrant hue. It bounded into the clearing, its playful energy a stark contrast to the tension that had filled the space moments before. The adult Grathak instantly shifted its focus, its protective instincts kicking in. Alex watched in awe as the larger creature stood between the younger one and the students, showcasing an unexpected layer of behavior. "Look!" they exclaimed. "It's protecting its young." Varlox, realizing the educational potential of this moment, adjusted his stance. "Very well, Alex. Observe, but do not engage further," he instructed, his tone a mixture of authority and newfound respect. As the students watched, the young Grathak pranced around the clearing, exploring its surroundings, while the adult remained vigilant. Alex couldn't help but feel a sense of exhilaration at the display. This was more than just a predator. It was a guardian, a parent, and perhaps even a partner in learning. Suddenly, the smaller Grathak spotted a cluster of bioluminescent plants nearby. It bounded over, nipping at the leaves, and the adult relaxed slightly, allowing its focus to drift. "This is incredible," Alex murmured, jotting down observations. "We can learn so much about their behavior, about family dynamics." "Yeah, if you don't get eaten first," Lyra whispered, still clearly unnerved. But Alex was undeterred. "It's not just about survival. It's about understanding the balance of nature. There's so much we can discover here." As the class began to take notes, Alex moved slightly closer to capture the nuances of the Grathak's interaction. The younger Grathak seemed curious about the students, occasionally glancing in their direction, its eyes filled with innocent curiosity. "Fascinating," Varlox said, his voice softened as he began to see the creatures through Alex's lens. "They exhibit social behavior rarely seen in solitary predators." Emboldened by the unfolding scene, Alex decided to push their luck. If the young one is playful, then perhaps the adult is not as aggressive as we believe. Maybe it senses our intentions. Just then, the adult Grathak turned, its eyes meeting Alex's once more. In that moment, a silent agreement seemed to pass between them. It was as if the creature recognized the human's genuine desire to learn, a recognition that stirred something deep within Alex, a sense of purpose. As the lesson continued, Alex felt the walls of fear begin to crumble, replaced by an overwhelming sense of possibility. Here in this wild, untamed environment, they were not just a Deathworlder. They were a vital part of a larger story, one where predator and prey could forge an extraordinary bond. The days that followed were a whirlwind of discovery for Alex. With each expedition into the wild, their bond with the Grathak deepened, challenging the very principles that the Academy had long upheld. While most of the students clung to their textbooks and theories, Alex found themselves drawn into the heart of nature, studying the creature's behavior through first-hand experience rather than abstract concepts. During one particularly electrifying session, the class was tasked with documenting various predator-prey interactions in the ecosystem. While other students focused on more benign creatures, Alex chose to observe the Grathak and its young, believing that true understanding lay in the most complex relationships. As they hiked through the dense foliage, Alex shared their findings with a small group of curious students who had begun to warm to their unconventional approach. "Look at how the Galactic interacts with its young," Alex explained, excitement bubbling in their voice. "It's not just a protector. It's teaching the younger Galactic about its environment, what to eat, what to avoid. This is social learning." One student, Jax, a wiry Anteri with iridescent skin, leaned in closer. "But isn't it dangerous? You're getting too close." "It's about respect," Alex replied. "If you approach with genuine curiosity rather than fear, you might just find they're more willing to engage. We need to shift our perspective." As the group reached a clearing, they witnessed an awe-inspiring scene. The adult Galactic demonstrating hunting techniques to its young. The smaller creature crouched low, mimicking its parents' movements, all while the adult kept a watchful eye on its surroundings. Alex couldn't help but jot down notes furiously, capturing every detail. Just then, a rustle echoed through the underbrush, drawing their attention. A pack of smaller predators, sleek and agile, emerged, stalking the Galactics with keen eyes. The tension thickened as everyone held their breath, unsure of how the Galactics would react. "Stay quiet," Varlox whispered urgently. "This could turn violent." But Alex, sensing the moment's significance, felt a surge of confidence. "No, wait. Look at how the Galactic is positioning itself. It's not acting out of fear. It's teaching its young how to face a threat." The adult Galactic lowered itself, its stance firm and unyielding, radiating a calm authority. Instead of attacking, it turned slightly, positioning itself between the pack and its offspring, displaying a defensive posture that was both formidable and protective. The smaller predators hesitated, seemingly assessing the situation. The larger Galactic's presence exuded power and a quiet strength, causing the pack to rethink their approach. "This is incredible," Alex breathed, hardly daring to blink. The scene unfolded in a tense silence. The smaller predators, recognizing the futility of their aggression, gradually backed off, disappearing into the shadows. The young Galactic scampered up to its parent, nuzzling against its side, and in that moment, the adult relaxed, its body language shifting from alert to nurturing. Alex turned to the group, eyes wide with wonder. "Did you see that? It's all about communication and strength. The Galactic didn't need to fight. It taught the younger one the power of presence. This is what we should be focusing on." But as they began to share their insights, Alex noticed the others' expressions shift from intrigue to skepticism. "It's just a lucky encounter," Lyra stated flatly, crossing her arms. "What if the next time it doesn't work out like this? Then we learn from it." Alex countered, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. "This is the point. Each encounter teaches us something different. We can't fear the danger. We need to embrace it." As the class trudged back to the academy, discussions about the day's events buzzed with a mix of admiration and disbelief. Some were intrigued by Alex's approach, while others remained staunchly in the camp of caution and fear. That evening, as the sun set over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Alex reflected on the day's lessons. They understood the skepticism. After all, humans were seen as reckless and unpredictable in this galaxy, but the connection they felt with the Galactic was undeniable. Tomorrow, Alex thought, determination flooding their senses, we'll dig deeper. It's time to challenge everything we know about predators and their place in the ecosystem. Little did they know, the journey ahead would push not only their understanding of alien life, but also test the limits of their own courage and conviction. The bond between Alex and the Galactic was only beginning to unfold, promising revelations that would change their lives and the Academy forever. The sun rose the next day, casting a golden hue over the Academy grounds. Alex felt invigorated, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. They had devised a bold plan to further observe the Galactic in its natural habitat, aiming to document not just its behavior, but the nuances of predator-prey dynamics. Armed with their notes and a newfound confidence, Alex gathered a small group of students who were intrigued by their approach. As they hiked into the wilderness, a sense of anticipation filled the air. "Today, we're going to try something different," Alex announced, excitement bubbling in their voice. "Instead of keeping our distance, we'll set up a hidden observation point close to where the Grathax usually roam. This will allow us to observe their interactions in a way we haven't before. Are you sure that's wise?" Jax asked, glancing nervously at the dense foliage surrounding them. "What if they sense us? If we're quiet and respectful, they won't." "Trust me," Alex replied, pushing aside their own flicker of doubt. "This is the only way we can truly learn." The group set up a concealed vantage point behind a thicket of trees, their hearts racing in unison as they waited. Hours passed, each minute stretching painfully, filled with the sounds of chirping insects and rustling leaves. Just when the tension seemed unbearable, they heard a familiar roar in the distance. Alex's pulse quickened. "It's them. Get ready." Moments later, the adult Grathax stepped into view, flanked by the younger one. The scene was mesmerizing. The young Grathax, filled with energy, bounded around its parent, practicing the stalking techniques it had learned. Alex watched in awe, feverishly documenting every movement. Then, without warning, a rustle erupted from the opposite direction, followed by a chorus of growls. A pack of sleek, agile predators emerged from the shadows, eyes fixed on the Grathax. Panic surged through the group. "What do we do?" Lyra hissed, her voice trembling. "Stay calm," Alex commanded, their heart racing. "Remember what we learned about the Grathax behavior. It might not be as simple as a fight or flight." As the pack advanced, the adult Grathax instinctively positioned itself in front of its young, a defensive stance that spoke volumes. The tension in the air was thick, and Alex could feel the weight of the moment bearing down on them. Would the Grathax stand its ground, or would it flee to protect its offspring? Suddenly, one of the smaller predators lunged, attempting to flank the Grathax. Without hesitation, the adult Grathax lunged back, a powerful display of strength that sent the attacker sprawling. The younger Grathax watched, wide-eyed, learning from its parent in real time. "Look," Alex urged, eyes wide. "It's showing its young how to respond to threats. This is incredible." The rest of the students, momentarily in trance, were silent as they witnessed the unfolding drama. But then, as if sensing an opportunity, the pack coordinated an attack, surrounding the Grathax. The adult Grathax let out a deep, resonating roar, rallying its strength as it faced the onslaught. "Get ready to move," Varlock sparked, suddenly taking charge. "We can't interfere, but we need to be prepared to help if necessary." Fear surged through Alex. They wanted to intervene, to help the Grathax, but they knew that any rash action could endanger both the creature and their group. They gripped their notes tightly, their heart pounding with the weight of the moment. As the pack closed in, the adult Grathax executed a series of calculated movements, showcasing its impressive agility. It pivoted gracefully, swiping at the attackers while keeping its young sheltered behind it. "Stay focused," Alex shouted, their voice cutting through the tension. "This is what we came for. Observe and learn." The conflict escalated, and in the chaos, the younger Grathax found itself momentarily isolated. It froze, unsure of what to do, its instincts warring with the lessons it had learned. Alex's heart dropped. They could see the fear in its eyes, and suddenly, it was more than just an observation. It felt personal. In a split second, a pack member lunged toward the young Grathax, and Alex's instinct kicked in. "No," they shouted, bolting from their hiding spot despite Varlock's protests. The adult Grathax roared in defiance, its eyes fierce and protective. But Alex couldn't bear to watch the young one in danger. As they rushed forward, a strange calm settled over them, a belief that their connection with the Grathax could transcend the chaos of nature. Time slowed as Alex reached the clearing, heart racing, ready to confront the predator, determined to protect not just the Galactic, but the fragile bond they had forged. The journey was far from over, but in that moment, Alex knew they were on the cusp of something extraordinary, something that could redefine not only their life, but the very principles of the Academy itself. The journey was far from over, but in that moment, Alex knew they were on the cusp of something extraordinary, something that could redefine not only their life, but the very principles of the Academy itself. As the tension in the clearing began to dissipate, Alex felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. They had confronted danger not with aggression but with understanding, and it had paid off. The adult Galactic, still watching with an intensity that was both formidable and protective, stepped closer, and Alex felt an almost palpable connection forming between them. "Did you really just do that?" Lyra's voice was a mixture of awe and disbelief. "You stood between a Galactic and a pack of predators. You're insane." "No," Alex said, grinning, still riding the high of adrenaline. "I just saw an opportunity to change the narrative. We need to study them, not just as predators, but as complex creatures with their own lives and challenges." As the group began to regroup, Varlock surveyed the clearing, clearly impressed despite his earlier concerns. "This is unprecedented," he murmured, his voice thoughtful. "Your actions today could reshape how we approach xenobiology." With a newfound respect, the class began discussing their observations. Alex shared their insights on the Galactic's social structure and its protective instincts, emphasizing the importance of understanding behavior in a broader ecological context. "I never thought I'd say this, but maybe there's something to your approach," Lyra admitted begrudgingly. "It's just unconventional." "Unconventional is what we need," Alex replied, a fire igniting in their heart. "We can't just rely on theories. We have to experience these interactions firsthand." Encouraged by the supportive murmurs from the group, Alex decided to take a bold step forward. "Let's set up a more permanent observation station here. We can come back regularly to study the Galactics and their environment. We can learn how they interact, not just with their young, but with other species as well." Varlock nodded thoughtfully. "That could be a valuable initiative. We'll need to ensure safety protocols are in place, of course, but the potential for research is substantial." As they began to discuss logistics, Alex noticed the adult Galactic watching intently, its gaze locked onto them. "I think it's trying to tell us something," they whispered, feeling a strange kinship. "It senses our intentions." The young Galactic ventured closer, its curiosity piqued by the group. Alex knelt down, lowering themselves to the creature's level, extending a hand as a gesture of peace. To their surprise, the young Galactic took a tentative step forward, sniffing the air before nuzzling Alex's palm with its snout. "I can't believe it," Lyra breathed, her skepticism melting away. "You formed a bond with it." "It's all about trust," Alex replied, heart swelling with pride. "We need to earn it, just like they've earned our respect." Over the next few weeks, the class returned to the observation station regularly, each visit revealing new layers of complexity in the Galactic's behavior. They documented hunting strategies, social interactions, and the ways in which the adult taught the young one to navigate their environment. One day, while observing the pair from a distance, Alex noticed something remarkable. The adult Galactic began to display behaviors that mirrored some of the instincts Alex had witnessed on Earth, the way it groomed its young, the subtle nudges and calls that guided the smaller creature. "Look," Alex exclaimed, pointing to the scene. "It's teaching its young how to find food, how to navigate danger. This is parenting, not just survival." The class erupted in discussion, excitement building as they began to realize the implications of their findings. This was not just a predator-prey dynamic. It was a relationship grounded in teaching, growth, and mutual respect. But just as the energy peaked, the tranquility of their observation was shattered. A rumble echoed through the forest, and a thunderous roar shook the ground beneath them. The adult Galactic snapped its head toward the sound, its protective instincts flaring. "What was that?" Jax whispered, eyes wide with fear. "I don't know," Alex replied, their stomach tightening. "But it doesn't sound good." Suddenly, from the shadows, a massive creature emerged. Another predator, larger and more menacing than anything they had encountered before. It bore the scars of countless battles, and its gaze was fixed on the graphics. "This could be dangerous," Varlox warned, stepping forward, his authoritative demeanor shifting to one of urgency. "We need to retreat now." But Alex couldn't move. They felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on them. The bond they had formed with the Graphax was too strong to abandon. "No, we have to help them." Panic coursed through Alex's veins as the massive predator advanced, its eyes locked on the Graphax with predatory intensity. The air crackled with tension, and the forest seemed to hold its breath. Behind them, Varlox and the other students were frozen, torn between instinctive fear and the unexpected bravery that Alex had ignited within them. "Alex, we need to go." Lyra's voice was urgent, panic lacing her words. "We can't face that thing." "No," Alex replied, voice steady despite the chaos. "The Graphax are our responsibility. If we leave now, they could be killed." The adult Graphax, sensing the looming danger, positioned itself protectively in front of its young. Its growl reverberated through the clearing, a deep primal sound that sent chills down Alex's spine. The young Graphax huddled close, looking up at its parent with wide, fearful eyes. Just then, the enormous predator let out a fearsome roar, a challenge that shook the leaves from the trees. Alex watched in awe and horror, recognizing the sheer force of nature at play. But amid the fear, a spark ignited within them. "Maybe we can distract it," Alex shouted, a plan forming in their mind. "If we can draw its attention away from the Graphax, they might have a chance to escape." Varlox nodded, realizing that retreat was no longer an option. "What do you propose?" "Remember the bioluminescent plants we saw before?" Alex gestured toward the underbrush. "If we can create a diversion using those, it might give the Graphax a chance to move away safely." The class moved quickly, gathering the glowing plants and fanning out. Alex's heart raced as they maneuvered through the thick foliage, adrenaline propelling them forward. "On my count," they instructed, glancing back at the advancing predator. 3, 2, 1. With a shout, they flung the glowing plants in a wide arc, the bioluminescent light illuminating the forest in a dazzling display. The sudden burst of color caught the predator's attention, its focus shifting away from the Graphax and toward the flickering lights. "Now, move!" Alex yelled, racing back toward the Graphax. They could see the adult still positioned protectively, but the young one was watching the distraction with curiosity. "Come on," Alex called, motioning urgently. "We have to move." In a calculated response, the adult Graphax nudged its young one, urging it to follow. With a fierce roar, it lunged toward the massive predator, trying to buy its offspring time to escape. The sheer power of the adult Graphax was breathtaking. It clashed with the intruder, a flurry of scales and muscles in a primal dance of survival. Alex felt a surge of admiration and fear, but there was no time to hesitate. They knew they had to act fast. "Keep moving," Varlox shouted, his voice a rallying call that pierced through the chaos. "We'll create a perimeter." The students fanned out, creating a line of distraction, shouting and throwing more bioluminescent plants. Alex darted back to the Graphax, their heart racing as they joined the adult in facing the larger predator. In a moment of desperation, Alex yelled, "You're strong. Protect your young. We believe in you." The words felt like a mantra, echoing their faith in the creature's abilities. The adult Graphax, fueled by instinct and a fierce determination to protect, rallied once more. It swiped at the larger predator, creating space for the young one to escape. Alex and the other students watched, hearts pounding, as the young Graphax darted toward safety. Then, the adult Graphax made a final, stunning display of ferocity, pushing back against the massive predator, It roared defiantly, and in that moment, the power of their bond shone through. The predator hesitated, clearly surprised by the adult's resilience. "Now," Varlox shouted, "get the young one to safety." With the distraction working, Alex urged the young Grathak further into the safety of the forest, heart racing with every step. They could feel the energy of the adult Grathak propelling them forward, as if their fates were intertwined. As they reached the safety of the thicket, Alex turned back just in time to see the adult Grathak deliver one final powerful strike, forcing the larger predator to retreat. The tension in the air began to shift, and a sense of victory surged through the clearing. The adult Grathak turned, its fierce eyes meeting Alex's. In that moment, a profound connection sparked between them, a recognition of the trust that had been forged through fire. As the dust settled, the students gathered, breathless and wide-eyed. They had witnessed something extraordinary, a lesson in bravery, connection, and the fierce bonds of nature. "We did it," Alex gasped, relief flooding through them. "We actually did it." Varlox nodded, visibly impressed. "Your instincts were right, Alex. This experience will redefine our understanding of these creatures, not just as predators, but as protectors." As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the forest, Alex turned to the adult Grathak, feeling gratitude wash over them. They had entered this wilderness as outsiders, but they were leaving with a new understanding, a commitment to coexistence, empathy, and respect for all life. The journey had only just begun, but together with the Grathaks, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. In the wilds of the galaxy, they had forged an alliance that transcended species, proving that understanding could bridge even the most formidable divides.